Under this holly bush, I keep a lot of bags, black bags, plastic bags with compost, with all sorts of leaf and all sorts of debris, which go straight in here after fall cleanup. So this is 1-year-old compost. Looking good, not 100% decomposted, a lot of nice little buggies there. So I'm going to use this together with well decomposed cow manure to improve the soil condition, to get ready for my roses. All right. Oh gosh, it smells like forest here, like forest soil. Hi everyone. Today in this video we are going to talk about preparing your soil for beautiful David Austin roses to arrive, and generally about the health of your soil. Now, I want not to be bothered by diseases, pests, infertility of my soil. I want my roses to be healthy, blooming wonderfully, and I don't want to spend my life watering them and taking care after their problems. That's why I'm investing a lot of time into building a healthy structure of my soil, which is the most important thing what you can do for your roses to bloom and live well. So this video is about that, how to build your soil structure. Very often, when I go into the store and I decide to choose between different fertilizers, natural fertilizers for my roses, the guys will tell me, oh, natural fertilizers are taking 2-3 weeks to get active for your roses to start feeding on natural fertilizer, so you better go for artificial fertilizer, which is readily available to your rose the minute you put it into the soil. And that's it. Nobody offers any more explanation whatsoever why it takes 2 weeks for the natural fertilizer to get available to the root system of the rose. So I am a big fan of Dr. Elaine Ahern. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I will put it down on the screen. And she is a very famous, very influential American microbiologist and soil biology researcher. So the way she describes the biology is just unbelievable. It's breathtaking. So let me try to explain to you quickly, in my own imperfect English, how this ecosystem in the soil works to persuade you to never use artificial fertilizers on your plants, especially for your roses. So what happens in this soil thing? See this beautiful, crumbly, wonderful thing which is in front of me here. This soil never saw artificial fertilizer for 10 years already. We came to this land and it was heavily, I think it was a lot of artificial stuff was used on this soil heavily. And I remember when next year, when we stopped using fertilizer, everything went almost, oh gosh, to the point of collapsing. The life of the soil was almost destroyed here. So it took us several years to get that longevity and that vitality of the soil back. And when I listened to Dr. Elaine, when she described how the soil works, so here it is in my imperfect English. The roots of the soil, the roots of the plant is in the soil, the sun shines on the plant absorbs all the energy, all the heat, and stores that energy in the root system. The root system produces special enzymes, which are sugars and other components. I'm not sure which ones. I wouldn't go into technical details. And those sugary substances attract bacteria to the root system of the plant. Those bacteria happily eat those little sugary substances, and when bigger predators come to eat those bacteria, they, poop, and they release beneficial micronutrients and elements for the plant to take and use in its growing cycle. So predators feed on predators, and then the bigger predators come, and then we have worms and spiders and birds, and then bigger predators, moles, come in, and all this chain keep each other in check in a way. So when small bacteria and fungi which are eating a substance which the roots of the plant produces, they are eaten by bigger predators. all the beneficial food is released for plant to intake. And where is that food? Right near the root system of the plant, because that's where all the stuff is attracted. So right where the root of the plant is, there we have a lot of healthy activity going on, and all these microorganisms are feeding on each other, releasing enzymes and micronutrients and everything what plant needs. So Dr. Elaine said that it takes approximately 3 seconds to have this release mechanism. The plant has a little enzyme, the bacteria are eating enzymes, bigger predators are eating bacteria, releasing the stuff which plants need, and that process can take up to 3 seconds, which is unbelievable how quickly the plant can get access to all the nutrition the plant needs. So now what happens if we put beautiful, well, I'm joking of course, with beautiful artificial fertilizer into that soil? We start to diminish the liveliness of all those bacteria around the root system of the plant. And there is nothing to swallow. The predators don't go against another predators. They don't swallow their victims. They don't poop out all the good stuff for the plant. And plant starts to depend on you to dump more and more stuff into that soil. But that doesn't end there. These little microorganisms, they create, especially fungi are very stringy, and they create a lot of structure in the soil. These compartments and little particles in the soil. You see, when you break the soil like this, it breaks into nice little crumbs. So we can see it with our eyes. But all the little organisms create these I would say like little cells in the soil, and those cells are able to create better tunnels for water to go through, and water takes air with itself. So your plant roots, which needs air, which needs oxygen to thrive, gets all that stuff. Water goes deep down and roots follow water deep down. And all this is thanks to all those beneficial bacteria which are existing in soil. Now, another thing, sometimes I hear from people who try to sell me artificial fertilizers that, well, when you use artificial fertilizers, eventually your soil can get compacted and you would need to water more. But there is no explanation why. So when I started digging deeper, trying to look for answers to that question, why, is when you put artificial fertilizer into the soil, those particles, which are created by microorganisms, are starting to crumble. They start to be destroyed, and soil gets more compacted, less oxygen gets into the soil, roots of the plant is struggling. How about water retention? Dr. Elaine said that when we create a very good, healthy structure of the soil, we can improve up to 70% the retention abilities of water. Meaning that if I water a well-prepared and and a very healthy soil, it retains water so much better than the soil which is killed by, or not killed, but almost diminished in life, but all the artificial stuff which we put into our soil. So as a result, this soil, haven't seen any artificial stuff for many years. I'm sure it's healthy already, but because my big feeders are going to come here next year, by the way, I managed to persuade my kids that roses are going to grow here, and I think that Olivia Austin rose by David Austin will go here. Maybe 2 or 3 bushes will be planted here next spring. So what I'm going to do, the question is, what is the best way to improve the natural ways, the life of the soil? Well, the best way is to add life, to make the life of the soil better. And by that we will do compost. Now, I have here these black bags. which I do every year. And since I don't really have space to do a good, nice compost pile on my property, because my property is not big, I'm using these plastic bags, and I dump all the stuff from, debris, leaves, whatever is needed to be cleaned in the garden. I put it in these bags. By the way, I have a link here how I do it. You're welcome to watch it. And then look at this. This one is a year-old compost. It's not 100% decomposed. Leaf is here. Oh, I see nice happy worms here. They're going to go back into the soil right there. Beautiful. So I'm going to combine cow manure. You see that thing? This cow manure is, if you look at the package, you can see that cow manure is not high in nutrients. It's 0,50505 only. A lot of artificial fertilizers are very high in nutrients, in numbers, but this one is not, because cow manure is a conditioner of the soil. It brings back life to the soil. Keep in mind that you cannot put only fresh cow manure into your soil. It's very bad for you. Cow manure has to be well decomposed. What I'm going to do, I'm going to dig in cow manure with leaves. See here, decomposed leaves. And all this through the winter will create a marvelous environment for my roses to go in. You know what? So many people are telling me that, oh gosh, your roses are so gorgeous. What do you do with them? Tell us, how do you fertilize your roses? And there is no magic to it. I just let Mother Nature and plant do their own thing, which they were doing for many thousands and thousands of years. And when we look, thanks to Dr. Elaine, when we look into the science of the soil, it is mind-blowing how well orchestrated it is, and then how smart it is. So when we humans, not knowing half of it, what's going on in the soil with our fertilizers, and we start dumping this artificial stuff in our soil, killing all the good stuff together with the bad stuff, in case, let's say, we use insecticides in our soil, and we are killing bad and good guys. Dr. Elaine says, guess what? Who grows much faster after this big kill? Of course, the bad guys. And so your rose is going to get sick and attacked by all sorts of diseases and parasites, and you don't know what to do with this beautiful thing. So my advice to people who are always asking me, gosh, your roses are so wonderful, so beautiful, and they are beautiful roses in my garden. No bragging, I love my roses, and they are gorgeous David Austin roses when they are blooming. And they are very healthy, by the way. So my advice is, don't use any artificial stuff on your roses. Just prepare your soil year after year, and your plant will start taking care after itself after a while. I must say that the first year we never even started using artificial fertilizers. But when we came here to this soil, it was very, a lot of artificial stuff was put into it. So first year, as I told you, was almost disaster. The grass went completely non-existent here. We had a lot of brown patches on our soil. But eventually, year after year, it takes time for the soil to rejuvenate. Oh, these are the roots from my black currant bush. I was taking it out here. Look at this beautiful thing. All healthy. I'm going to dig in some of the compost, healthy stuff. And this year, for the first time ever, I'm doing it the right way. Preparing the soil in the fall for plants to go in spring. So I'm going to do this, and then I will cover it with some soil, and I will do cow manure. I love that this process doesn't have to be very neat, you know, like you do something in the house, a project, it has to be super neat, but here you just can go messy and no problems whatsoever. Okay, roots of my blackcurrant bush. All right. Big chunks. All right, good stuff. Look at this. It's not 100% done, but hey, winter will come. All right, goody. It's going to look messy, but that's okay. Oh, there is a paper. What is this? I think it's a paper. No, it's some sort of tissue. Okay, I will take care of that later. Okay, that's it. That's all for this project here. I will just spread it around and let the soil take care of itself. I'm sure kids would be running here. It will get somewhat compacted. I don't mind. So the cycle of freezing will come. Soil will be going through the winter and will create a beautiful structure for my roses to go in. All right. I'm going to create eventually some sort of a border here. Maybe I will use that wicker sticks to create some sort of a neat arrangement here for my roses to look really well. I also thought maybe a very low border of boxwoods, just to be here in some sort of a shape. And beautiful David Austin, Olivia Austin roses here. They're beautiful, very healthy and disease-resistant roses. And because this soil is so healthy here, my roses are going to be growing here happily, I hope, next year. Okay, so this cow manure will go to the front. I have another big section of my front border where I have the whole area dedicated to another shipment of David Austin roses coming. And that would be 5 roses of the same variety. It's going to be magnificent there. I'm going to use all this leaf mulch and decomposed cow manure to enrich that soil too, for the winter to take its course, and soil will be nice and well prepared to receive rose roots for next year. So I hope I persuaded you. Let me know in the messages under this video. What do you think about this method of this permaculture viewpoint look on our nature, that nature is self-rejuvenating, and there's no need for humans to have these harsh interactions where we really don't understand what's going on, and we interact with harsh chemicals and harsh pesticides, fertilizers. Dr. Elaine also says that because there are so many different particles in the soil, all the nutrients which plants need to thrive are there. And the only way to get those nutrients in the form which is acceptable for plants to absorb is through those microorganisms in the soil. So again, I'm going to spend a lot of time of my time in the garden to improve the soil conditions in the garden. And then the rest, plants will take care after themselves. Diseases, pests, fertility, good crop, good flowers. I just will let the nature take care of these problems. I just make sure that my soil is healthy and has a lot of natural stuff growing in it and helping my plants to thrive. So I'm curious what you're going to think about it. Leave your comments below, and happy gardening. I will see you next time during my next garden adventure.